at elections as very important vehicles, because we feel that elections are important vehicles where citizens can partake in voting or being voted into positions of leadership and power. They can be elected into decision making. And elections also can be a tool to foster political openings and expand the space for women. That is why we are calling this program, because 6 months' time, Ghana is going into elections. Come December, we are even now talking about November, not yet decided, but come December, at least that one will know, Ghana will hold its 8th democratic election. Am I correct? Yeah, its 8th democratic elections. And unfortunately, throughout these 8 elections, we call them democratic, we call them fair, we call them free, isn't it? But unfortunately, they have not been fair to a large group of the citizens of this country, a race called women. So, we say that it is unfair because of so many things. Our constitution says that all of us have the same rights. We say that we as a country, as a nation, as a state, we have gone out and signed global, continental, and even regional protocols and agreements to come home and promote women. I hope all of you are aware of such protocols as Beijing Platform for Action. We have signed on the Millennium Development Goal, haven't we?
Yeah.
We have signed the Sustainable Development Goals now. We have signed the ECOWAS Protocol for Gender Equality, the AAU Maputo Protocol. All those protocols are calling for Ghana as a nation to come and promote women. And unfortunately, we have not been able to do that. Do you agree with me or you don't agree with me? You're bloggers, you have far-reaching knowledge. See women, where are they? Economically, educationally, politically. Where are they positioned as citizens of this country and people who are supposed to enjoy equal rights? Where is their position in these spaces? Economically, politically, educationally. So we feel it is unfair. And so we want to target, together with you, with your help, as bloggers, as people who are into the most expanding medium of information dissemination, which is the social media, to see how we can enhance publicity and advocacy on issues of increasing women's participation and representation in the coming elections 2024. So our target is actually 3 places. First is the government, the state. Let me put it the state, because maybe if I say government, then we'll be thinking, is it NDC government, is it MPP government? No, I'm saying the state of Ghana itself. Because the state has the responsibility to its citizens to remove discrimination. That's a sign and mark of good governance. Apart from providing security for the citizens, it also has the responsibility to remove discrimination end marginalization of its citizens. So the state must be able to introduce robust policies, robust laws, to be able to implement an environment where people can feel that they belong. There is that common that we own, the ownership, that there is general feeling that we own Ghana, we are part of Ghana. When you're marginalized and you're discriminated, you don't feel part of the nation, you don't feel part of the system. So we think that the government has the responsibility to allow for an environment that can create space for every Ghanaian, irrespective of gender. Whether you are a woman or a man, you should be able to access the resources of this country equally, whether they are in education, whether they are in political participation, whether it is in social rights. Secondly, we want to target political parties that maybe we have not called political parties to account for how they treat women or how they offer spaces for women's progression into leadership and into positions of power, into positions of decision making. All of you are here, you are bloggers, you go here, you know here which party and all that. The hierarchy of political parties have not been very democratic. Have you ever heard of a chairperson of a political party who is a woman? Please, I'm asking you. That's why I told you it's interactive. This one is interactive. I know you're very busy. Only I think Kwame Nkrumah's daughter was once chairperson. Otherwise, and there hasn't been a national organizer of a political party who is a woman. Neither national organizer, I'm not talking about women's national organizer. I'm talking about a national organizer. There hasn't been a general secretary. I think CPP has a general secretary right now, but she's quite on fire. But otherwise, the major political parties, I want to say, sometimes when you speak about major political parties, it's like you are denigrating or you are lowering the position of the other parties. No, when we speak of the major political parties, we are talking about those parties that have held sway in parliament. And it has been only the two political parties ever since we came into democratic dispensation, NPP and NDC. Once there was the CPP member of parliament, one. But otherwise, the major political parties which hold sway in parliament, they have never had these positions that are important decision-making positions allocated to women. These are the people who sit down and decide who should stand, isn't it? How much money should be paid, who should stand for president, who should stand for parliament, and all those kind of decisions. So when women are not there, their own experiences, we fail to project the experiences, the concerns, and the needs of women in these debates, in these decision-making platforms, because they are not there. So political parties are important institutions because they are the institutions that link us as citizens and governors. if I'm here and maybe I profess to support a party and it comes to power, I feel connected, isn't it?
Yeah.
My party is in power. And when I go to vote, to give my vote, to make my selection, I give my vote to that particular party. Am I right or not right?
You're right.
Good. So, and when the other party comes, some other people to feel that they are connected, because they connect us to governance. Not all of us can go to castle or can go to parliament to rule. So political parties are important vehicles to represent the citizens' desires, needs and concerns. So these institutions must be aware of the needs of their members, women and men. They can't continue to cater for the needs of men and neglect the issues of gender equality not being salient issues in their decisions. So the dates are being lowered, but I want to think that it's more than 20 years. Because the document, the Women's Manifesto, or those of you who have heard about it or who have seen it, it was from this office, from this organization, that the idea came from, to develop this document. And it was printed and launched in 2004. So that's 20 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when we start mentioning 2011, we are cutting down the number of years that we have fought for the promulgation of an affirmative action bill into law. So 2011 is being mentioned because this is when the sector ministry, NGOs cannot develop laws. So the sector ministry took it up in 2011 and said, okay, we will run with it to develop it into a law, because they can draft laws and so forth. And even then, when we take this date of 2011, that's about 13 years ago, isn't it? How can we fight for a law over 13 years? That is so important to the promotion of women's welfare, and we are taking 13 years. So this bill, we want you to follow it up and give your utmost in terms of advocating for it. Hashtag it, please. It is in Parliament right now, but I mean, Ghana, unfortunately, even today, this morning, I had somebody, I think the second deputy speaker also, saying that the way Ghana, we have politicized everything, is deterring development, which is the truth. Everything is politics. Everything is NDC, NPP. God, we are not moving. So I don't know what is happening, but it seems like once again a bill 2 has been stuck in the mud. This 13 years, unfortunately, has also the issue of the great turnover in that ministry. You know, that ministry is the ministry which has the highest number of ministers. About 8 ministers within this period of time. Yeah, NPP and NGC ministers, from the time that it started with Honorable Azuma Mensah, all the way Saned Dansua, Otiko Jaba, Morrison, the one, our MP, what is that? Ajwa Safo, and so that also has contributed to the delay in the bill, because every time a minister comes in, she has to see it because it is her signature that sends the bill to cabinet. She can't send the bill to cabinet with somebody else's signature. Do you understand? So if Oyelitha was there and has signed, when Morrison came or Ochiko Jaba came, she has to recall it, and then, so that also contributed. But it also shows the weight they give to the ministry. Why do you have so many ministers like that? Changing hands in a ministry that is very important to 52% of the population of this country. So the bill has delayed, and also the bill has, let me say it to be very fair, the affirmative action bill was presented to government. I don't know whether you know this. You are people in the media. In 2016. 2016. That was Mahama's time, President Mahama's time. Unfortunately, it was presented so late before the election of 2016. So everybody by that time, they were so busy wanting to go and campaign. So they didn't have time. And when a bill, this is the rule, the standing orders, I think, of the parliament, that when a bill does not get the first reading, then it lapses. It is like null and void. So when it didn't get the first reading, it was taken out. We unfortunately, we hope it doesn't happen, but maybe we are about to see a repeat. Because we are in June, aren't we? July, August, the members of parliament are so busy wanting to go and fight for their seats that they might not even have time to do that. So that is why we are saying there is an urgency to push this thing, to intensify the advocacy on the media, traditional, social media. Help us do that. Otherwise, we'll have a repeat of 2016, and then the bill will lapse again, and it will go again through we'll go to ground zero.